Good afternoon, my students. Welcome to Aprender e Estudar em Casa. My name is Lindsay Monteiro. You already know that I'm your English teacher. Please, if you are feeling these symptoms like fever, cough, shortness of breath, sore throat, headache, please wear a mask, cover your nose and mouth with tissue or elbow when sneezing, and call the green line. Today, we are going to learn some verb tenses like present perfect simple, present perfect continuous. We have some exercises and of course homework. Students, have you ever asked yourself, what is a verb tense? Well, I have the answer. A verb tense shows if an action took place in the past, in the present, or in the future. And the present perfect is a verb tense as well. But when do we use the present perfect simple? We have two cases. The first one, it shows a finished past action. It doesn't show when this action took place. For example, I have been to Australia. I have been to Australia, but it doesn't show when it took place. The second one can also show a continuing action, an action that started in the past and continues to the present. And this action might continue into the future too. For example, I have lived in Toronto for 2 years. Now, we will see how is it formed. How do we form the present perfect simple? Well, I have the affirmative, negative, and interrogative form. And I invite you to come with me and analyze them. For the affirmative form, we have the subject plus have, has, plus past participle of the main verb. Students, the auxiliary verb is to have, and to have changes according to the subject. Then we have an example. I have finished my homework. The negative form, we just add not to the auxiliary verb to have. Subject plus have not or has not, depending on the subject, plus the past participle of the main verb. For example, she has not worked at this office for 12 years. Has, because we have the subject she. The third person singular we do as has. The interrogative form, we change the subject and the auxiliary verb places. Here, the auxiliary verb comes first and then the subject. We have or has, depending on the subject, plus the subject, plus the past participle of the main verb, and don't forget the question mark. Have my friends seen that movie? Have my friends seen that movie? Friends is in plural. So, if we have friends, if we have a plural, we have to use have. With irregular verbs, the past participle changes into a different verb form. We don't use ed. Students, do you remember when I said that for the irregular verbs we have the specific list? Well, the third column we will find the past participles of all the irregular verbs. For example, eaten. Now, let's do a small exercise. Please listen and repeat with me. We have the verb to be. Here we have the infinitive form of to be. To be is formed was, were, been. Been is the past participle of the verb to be. Then we have do. Did, done. Have, had. Drink, drunk, drunk. Go, went, gone. Run, ran, run. For example, he has never eaten cachupa. We have had a dog since I was 5 years old. Easy, right? If you have the list of the irregular verbs, it will be very easy for you to form the past participle of the verbs. Now, moving on, we have the present perfect continuous. Yes, do you remember when I said that today we are going to learn 2 verb tenses? Yes, now we are going to see how do we form the present perfect continuous, for what we use it, the changes. So, come with me, guys. Well, the present perfect continuous is a verb tense that show actions that start in the past, continues in the present, and it will continue in the future. For example, I have been working at this company for 8 years. She has been living in France since 2015. If you remember how do we form the present continuous, it will be easy for you. Remember that in the main verbs we add an ing to form the present continuous. So here in the present perfect continuous is the same, but we have to add been. Been plus the main verb plus the ing. Verb form, how do we form it? As I said before, the auxiliary verb have changes according to the subject. Affirmative we have subject plus have or has plus been plus ing form of the main verb. For example, I have been watching TV for 3 hours. The negative form, we have the subject plus have not, has not, depending on the subject, plus been, plus the verb ing. Example, she has not been studying English. Interrogative, remember, here we change subject, have, has, we change them places. Have, has, plus subject, plus been, plus ing of the main verb. Example, has he been sleeping all day? See, it's not that complicated. If you pay attention how do we form it, it will be very easy for you to write your sentence or even say it. Now, we have some observation here. Contractions. What are contractions? Well, contractions are short form of a word. Remember that I said that have, has, they are the auxiliary verb of the present perfect continuous, and sometimes we have to contract them. Have becomes v and has z. So we can contract have with pronouns and singular nouns, but never with plural nouns. For example, has been reading a book since 5 o'clock. We've been waiting at the airport for 2 hours. These contractions is just a way for you to make the sentence shorter. Okay? So don't you forget v or z depending on the subject. Students, do you think that I forgot about our exercise? No, I brought some exercise here. Easy one, simple. First one, you have to choose the correct form of the present perfect simple. First one, it's a great movie. I have spaced that movie many times. We have options: A, saw, B, seen, C, see. Don't forget, is the past participle of the main verb. 2. My family and I space to many different countries around the world. A, have flown. B, has flown. C, flown. 3. Eva, Thomas, and Robert space Hong Kong many times. A, have been. B. Been to. C. Have been to. Use the list of the irregular verbs. Pay attention on the form. And I will give you some time for you to do this. Correction time. Have you finished this? Let's check if you did this right. Okay. 1. It's a great movie. I have seen that movie many times. Good. 2. My family and I have flown to many different countries around the world. Students, my family and I. 2 subjects, plural. Obviously, we will put there have, flown. 3. Eva, Thomas, and Robert have been to Hong Kong many times. Great! You are so smart. I'm very happy with you. So, second exercise. Here you will make the present perfect continuous in negative form. You have the sentence, they don't have verb, so you will do it. You will complete with the present perfect continuous but in negative form. First one, it rained lately. Second, I swim today. Third, you cook this year. Fourth, we study enough for the exams. Fifth, he ran recently because he hurt his knees. Sixth, my dog played too much, it must be sick. Students, remember that you will do the exercise using the present perfect continuous negative form. Remember the form. Subject, have or has, plus been plus ing. As always, I will give you some time for you to do this, and then we will be back and correct it together. let's check if you did this right. 1. It rained lately. Become, it has not been raining lately. Remember, has because the subject is it. 2. I swim today. I have not been swimming today. I have not been swimming today. 3. You cook this year. You have not been cooking this year. 4. We study enough for the exams. We have not been studying for the exams. 5. He ran recently because he hurt his knees. He has not been running lately because he hurt his knees. 6. My dog played too much, it must be sick. Becomes, my dog has not been playing too much, it must be sick. Has because we have my dog. My dog is an it. That's why we did with has and not have. Third person singular. Easy, right, students? Very, very easy. If you follow the form of the present perfect continuous, you will see that it's very easy for you to write your own sentences. I'm very happy that you did this right. Now is homework time. Students, what is the purpose of bringing a homework? Yes, very good. You said it right. Homework is just to make sure that you understood the lesson clearly. And I brought 2 for you. First one, you will circle the correct word. We have 1. Michaela have lost her dog. Remember, has, have, according to the subject. 2. Have you tidied your room? 3. They have not gone to that cafe yet. 4. My father has bought a new lamp. 5. Has the kids walked in the snow? 6. Mario has just missed the bus. Exercise number 2. B. Use the verbs in brackets to make the present perfect continuous. 1. Space you, space for 2 hours. The verb is to work. This is an interrogative sentence. 2. How long, space he, space me. The verb is to wait for. An interrogative sentence 2. 3. Space a hotel since morning. To look for. 4. We have a negative sentence. He, space at the gym since summer, not the train. 5. We, space since 2 o'clock. The verb is wait. 6. Kate, space to enter Harvard for 3 years. The verb is to try. Dear students, we are almost at the end of our lesson, and as always, we have to do a small summary just to highlight the most important points that we saw today. So, today, as I said, we were supposed to learn about two verb tenses. The first one was present perfect simple, and we saw that the present perfect simple talks about actions that happen in the past and continues in the present. For example, Mariah has learned how to play piano since she was 3 years old. Remember, students, we have the auxiliary verb to have, and it changes according to the subject. And remember that we use the past participle of the main verb. For the regular verbs, we just add an ed, and for the irregular verbs, we have the list of the verbs. Then we learn about the present perfect continuous that talk about actions that start in the past, continues in the present, and it will continue in the future. For example, he has been sleeping since 2 p.m. Has, because we have the subject he, and as we are dealing with a present perfect continuous, we need to add an ing to the main verb. Students, my lesson was based on ESLlibrary.com and Pinterest.com. Please feel free to consult them if you have doubts. Dear students, this was our lesson at Aprender e Estudar em Casa. It was such a big pleasure to be here with you once again, and I see you next class. Take care of yourself. Bye.